So we know that there's a massive growth push and strategy to ensure that we see, tourism numbers increasing. But we didn't speak to you that long ago, and you were talking about the fact that we're seeing a significant boost in the 2011 numbers. You were talking about expecting very similar numbers in 2012. How much more can actually be done to further boost the tourism industry?
Yes, I think we're very happy with the fact that just 2 weeks ago we were reporting some good news in terms of the total tourist arrivals in South Africa. Today we were launching the domestic tourism growth strategy, followed by sharing with the public and the media out there our domestic arrivals statistics and the spend. The third component was for us to launch the domestic campaign. This is aimed at making sure that we first educate South Africans to be tourists in their own country. The second thing is to make sure that we inculcate a culture of tourism within South Africans, and also to make sure that South Africans do understand that South Africa has a lot to offer. They don't have to go outside the country for them to enjoy holidays, and that those kind of holidays are actually affordable within the country. So we are quite excited that this is going to support further the national tourism sector strategy.
Okay, what's interesting, Thulani, 76% of the country's total tourism in 2011 was through domestic tourism. So this is a very high number. I mean, how much higher are you expecting this number to reach? This is still a fair share of the overall pie.
Yes, we do expect the number to go up. As you said in your introduction, we expect the contribution to go up to 60%, and we believe that as we involve more provinces and more cities to be engaged in the domestic travel, as well as communities out there, we are going to see a lot more increase. What is important for us is that all the activities that we are embarking on are aimed at job creation. We're not just doing it to encourage tourism and it ends there. It is aimed at making sure that we can create jobs and making sure that we distribute very evenly the tourism benefits within South Africa.
Okay, so how many jobs are you planning to create? I know when you look at domestic trips expecting to increase from 26.4 million in 2011 to around 54 million by 2020. This is obviously very ambitious, some would argue, but obviously as you talked of, job creation in tandem with this makes it a very lucrative, of course, target.
If we look at it from the national tourism sector's strategy and goals point of view, I think that puts a lot of perspective in the numbers. By 2020, we are hoping to generate 225,000 jobs. And by that time, we are also looking at generating about 500 billion rand in terms of the total tourism revenue. So these are the kind of numbers that we are targeting, and making sure that we have arrivals in total of 15 million by 2020. So the domestic tourism strategy is aimed at supporting that and making sure that once South Africans are converted into understanding tourism, they will then easily embrace the global tourists coming into the country and share the warmth and excitement that we have here in South Africa.
Is there a concern from a low-cost airline perspective, Thulani, because this has been also something that many people have been focusing on, very high oil prices creating a lot of volatility within this industry and making it very unprofitable. What is your support and your view with regard to the low-cost airline industry, which obviously, if it remains as it is right now, is not going to be very profitable for much longer, and then also just keeping in mind that it could actually hamper domestic tourism as well?
Our view is that any cost that adds to the cost of travel is not welcome. So we do actually call on all the stakeholders in the tourism industry to make sure that we become an affordable country. The costs that affect low-cost airlines are not limited to them. Even the legacy airlines on the long haul, the fuel charges that have been happening there affects everybody. So we are actually concerned about anything that adds to the cost of travel, especially the one that can interfere with our main objective of bringing increased tourism to South Africa. We are also aware of the fact that the low-cost airlines have been important in terms of distributing tourism within the provinces, as well as making sure that people arriving here when they come from overseas have the means and ability to get to all the corners of South Africa. So we are looking at the total cost of travel in total. It starts with airlines, the legacy airlines. It then follows with the hotels and the low-cost airlines and everybody else in the value chain. We want to make sure that travel into South Africa is affordable.